Only you.
Here he comes.
Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown.
The 1950s were an electrifying time in music history, with iconic bands and unforgettable tunes that still make us tap our feet and sway to the rhythm. But amidst the neon lights and jukebox melodies, some bands have faded into obscurity, leaving us yearning for their triumphant return to the stage. From the crooners to the harmonizers, these groups defined an era and left an indelible mark on music history. Hop aboard the nostalgia train with us as we take a stroll down memory lane, reminiscing about 13 famous bands of the 1950s that we want back. Number 1. Bill Haley and his Comets. Bill Haley and his Comets emerged onto the rock and roll scene like a blazing comet. Formed in 1952, this group skyrocketed to fame with their smash hit Rock Around the Clock in 1954, igniting a cultural revolution that would define a generation. With their irresistible energy and signature sound, they became one of the pioneering acts of the rock and roll movement of the time, performing in over 100 shows a year at their peak. The band's electrifying performances and catchy tunes earned them legions of devoted fans, packing stadiums and dance halls across the country. Led by the charismatic Bill Haley himself, the Comets boasted a lineup of talented musicians who contributed to their iconic sound. Names like Franny Beecher, Johnny Grand, and Marshall Lionel became synonymous with the rock and roll revolution. Despite their meteoric rise to stardom, changing musical taste eventually led to the band's decline. By the late 1950s, their popularity had waned, and they faded from the spotlight. In the years following the breakup, members of the band pursued various musical endeavors. Some continued to perform, but in smaller venues, while others transitioned to different careers altogether. Bill Haley himself continued to perform until his passing in 1981, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire generations of musicians. Now, let's reminisce further with the Platters.
Oh, yes, I'm the great.
Number 2, the Platters. Formed in 1952, the Platters rose to popularity with their velvety voices and timeless tunes, enchanting audiences worldwide. Their silky smooth ballads like Only You and The Great Pretender became anthems of romance and longing, capturing the hearts of millions. With their heavy harmonies, the Platters traveled all around the world, singing their hearts out in 322 concerts. They wowed crowds with their enchanting melodies, winning over countless fans wherever they performed. The band's lineup included vocal talents such as Tony Williams, Zola Taylor, and lead singer Herb Reed, each contributing their own unique flavor to the group's lush sound. Despite their immense success, internal conflicts eventually led to the band's breakup in the late 1960s. Members pursued solo careers and other ventures, leaving behind a legacy of timeless music that continues to captivate audiences to this day. While some members continued to perform individually, others retired from the spotlight, content to bask in the glow of their past achievements. Moving on, let's talk about an unforgettable duo.
Think it's kinda sad that you're treating me so bad, or don't you even...
Number 3, the Everly Brothers. In the golden era of the 1950s, a duo emerged that would define the sound of rock and roll harmony. The Everly Brothers, born in 1955, consisting of brothers Don and Phil Everly, captivated audiences with their flawless vocal blend and catchy melodies. Their hits like Wake Up Little Susie and Bye Bye Love shot them to superstardom, earning them a legion of devoted fans and countless converts to their brand of rockabilly-infused pop. The Everly Brothers embarked on over 50 tours, crisscrossing the nation and even venturing overseas to spread their music. Their performances were legendary, drawing in crowds wherever they went and solidifying their status as icons of the era. However, like many bands of their time, internal tensions and changing musical trends eventually led to the Everly Brothers parting ways in the early 1970s. Despite brief reunions and solo endeavors, the brothers pursued separate paths in the music industry. Don continued to perform as a solo artist, releasing albums and occasionally reuniting with Phil for special performances. Phil tragically passed away in 2014, leaving behind a legacy of timeless music that continues to resonate with audiences worldwide. Today, Don Everly carries on the musical legacy of the Everly Brothers, performing their classic hits and keeping their spirit alive for fans who grew up in the good old days. Buddy and his Crickets are also not to be forgotten.
When I die, well, you give me all your loving and your turtle doving.
Number 4. Buddy Holly and the Crickets. In the dawn of the rock and roll era, Buddy Holly and the Crickets burst onto the scene like a bolt of lightning. Formed in 1957, this pioneering group from Lubbock, Texas, captured the hearts of teenagers everywhere with their catchy tunes and infectious energy. Their hits like That'll Be the Day and Peggy Sue skyrocketed them to fame, making them one of the most popular acts of their time. Their unique blend of rockabilly and pop sensibilities appealed to a wide audience, earning them legions of devoted fans and countless converts to the rock and roll movement. The group set out on 13 tours, sharing their irresistible sound with enthusiastic crowds. Their electrifying performances left a lasting impression on everyone who witnessed them, solidifying their status as legends of rock and roll. Buddy Holly, with his distinctive glasses and charismatic stage presence, led the band with his vocals and guitar prowess. The Crickets, including members Jerry Allison and Joe B. Malden, provided the perfect musical backdrop with their tight rhythms and infectious grooves. Tragically, the world lost Buddy Holly in a plane crash in 1959, along with fellow rock icons Ritchie Valens and the Big Bopper, in what came to be known as the day the music died. Despite this devastating loss, the Crickets continued to perform and record music, carrying on Buddy's legacy and influence. Over the years, various members of the Crickets pursued solo careers and other musical endeavors, but the spirit of the band lived on through their timeless music. Today, the Crickets continue to perform and honor the memory of their legendary frontman, ensuring that Buddy Holly's music remains a cherished part of the rock and roll canon for generations to come. The groove continues with the Coasters.
I know that's him, yelling 7,11 down in the bar.
Number 5, the Coasters. Formed in 1955, the Coasters emerged as a dominant force in rhythm and blues. With their catchy tunes and dynamic performances, they swiftly ascended to fame. Hits like Yakety Yak and Charlie Brown propelled them to stardom, earning widespread acclaim and affection. The Coasters have performed in more than 237 concerts, enchanting audiences across the nation with their irresistible sound. Featuring vocalists like Carl Gardner, Billy Guy, and Cornell Gunner, the group showcased a diverse range of talents. Despite internal conflicts and shifting musical taste leading to lineup changes and a decline in popularity, the Coasters' impact on rhythm and blues and rock and roll remain profound. Today, various iterations of the Coasters continue to perform, carrying on the legacy of the original group. Their music remains a timeless symbol of the excitement and vibrancy of the 1950s, resonating with audiences who grew up in the 80s and beyond. It's time to drift away with the Drifters.
Kissing in the back row of the movies on a Saturday night.
Number 6, the Drifters. Amidst the vibrancy of the 1950s, the Drifters emerged as a shining example of rhythm and blues mastery. Established in 1953, this sensational group swiftly soared to stardom with their velvety harmonies and soul-stirring melodies. Their chart-topping hits such as Under the Boardwalk and Save the Last Dance for Me propelled them to the forefront of the music scene, garnering a devoted following and converting countless fans to the realm of rhythm and blues. Throughout their illustrious journey, the Drifters performed in over 249 concerts, captivating audiences with their electrifying performances and timeless tunes. With a lineup of vocal titans like Clyde McPhatter, Benny King, and Rudy Lewis, each lending their unique flair to the group's dynamic sound, the Drifters became icons of their era. Despite the challenges of lineup changes and internal strife, the enduring legacy of the Drifters is evidenced by the ongoing performances of different versions of the band. With fresh faces taking up the mantle of excellence, the Drifters remain a cherished emblem of the soulful music that characterized the era. Now, let's talk about an all-girl band. Number 7, the Chordettes. Formed in 1946, the Chordettes won over audiences with their enchanting harmonies and memorable tunes. As the 1950s rolled in, their popularity soared, propelled by hits like Mr. Sandman and Lollipop that dominated the airwaves. What made the Chordettes even more captivating was the fact that they were a band entirely composed of females. Their unique lineup of female musicians added an extra layer of charm and intrigue to their performances, making them stand out even more in the music scene. Their captivating sound led to 10 concerts and appearances on iconic TV shows such as American Bandstand, garnering them a dedicated following and winning over countless fans with their harmonious style. Comprised of talented vocalists including Dorothy Schwartz, Janet Ertl, Lynn Evans, and Carol Bushman, each member contributed to the group's unique and distinctive sound. The Chordettes delivered thrilling shows at 2 concerts, leaving audiences electrified with their music and stage presence. Their performances were packed with energy and excitement, making them unforgettable experiences for everyone in attendance. Despite their initial success, changing musical trends and personal commitments eventually led to the band's disbandment in the early 1960s. Members pursued diverse paths, with some remaining in music while others pursued different careers and family life. Today, the Chordettes' music remains a cherished part of 1950s nostalgia, evoking memories of a bygone era of innocence and romance. While the original members have since passed away or retired from the limelight, their harmonious legacy lives on, continuing to resonate with fans old and new alike. Moving on, let's talk about the Ink Spots.
If this isn't love.
Number 8. The Ink Spots. Emerging in 1932, the Ink Spots swiftly became renowned for their harmonious melodies and rhythmic prowess. By the 1940s, they had soared to the heights of popularity, captivating audiences with their smooth tunes and impeccable vocal arrangements. The hit "If I Didn't Care" catapulted them to fame, earning them widespread acclaim and a devoted following. Renowned for their close harmonies and innovative use of instruments, the Ink Spots' music resonated with listeners of all ages. Over the years, the group held 19 concerts, sharing their groovy sound with enthusiastic crowds. Their performances were legendary, attracting throngs of fans and solidifying their status as icons of their era. Featuring vocal talents like Bill Kenny, Deke Watson, and Charlie Fuqua, each member brought their own unique voice to the ensemble's distinctive sound. Despite internal conflicts and shifts in musical trends, the Ink Spots' influence endured, with various lineups continuing to perform even after the original members disbanded in the 1950s. Today, the Ink Spots' music remains a cherished part of musical history, evoking nostalgia. Up next, the Four Aces.
That only grows in the earth.
Number 9. The Four Aces. The Four Aces, a legendary quartet, emerged onto the music scene in the early 1950s, enchanting audiences globally with their harmonious melodies and polished performances. Established in 1949 in Philadelphia, the group swiftly gained fame with their smooth vocal blend and catchy tunes. Their popularity skyrocketed thanks to chart toppers like "Love Is a Many Splendored Thing" and "Three Coins in the Fountain." They amassed devoted fans. During their peak, the Four Aces put on amazing shows at 4 concerts, wowing audiences with their exceptional performances. Comprised of Al Alberts, Dave Mahoney, Lou Silvestri, and Rosario Sad Vaccaro, the Four Aces epitomized harmony and sophistication in the era of doo-wop and crooners. Nevertheless, similar to many musical acts of their time, the Four Aces encountered challenges as musical preferences evolved. Despite their initial success, shifting trends in the industry led to a decline in their prominence. Following the group's peak, members pursued diverse paths. Al Alberts continued as a solo performer and later found success as a television personality. Dave Mahoney and Lou Silvestri remained active in music, lending their talents to various projects. And Rosario Sad Vaccaro explored other interests beyond music. Today, the enduring legacy of the Four Aces endures through their timeless recordings, evoking fond memories of a bygone musical era. Their harmonies persist in captivating audiences, serving as proof of the everlasting charm of classic vocal ensembles. Now let the groove go on with the Crew Cuts.
If you would let me spend my whole life loving you, life could be.
Number 10. The Crew Cuts. The Crew Cuts were a sensational vocal quartet formed in early 1952, known for their smooth harmonies and infectious energy. They burst onto the scene in 1954 with their cover of Shaboom.
Life could be a dream if I could take you up in paradise up above,
which skyrocketed to the top of the charts, making them overnight sensations. Their polished performances and irresistible charm won over audiences worldwide, earning them legions of devoted fans. Throughout the 1950s, the Crew Cuts held 144 sold-out concerts, captivating crowds with their dynamic stage presence and timeless tunes. With hits like Earth Angel and Crazy 'Bout You Baby, they solidified their status as one of the era's most beloved acts. The original members of the Crew Cuts were Rudy McGarry, John Perkins, Ray Perkins, and Pat Barrett, each contributing their unique vocal talents to the group's signature sound. As the 1960s dawned, musical tastes began to shift, and the Crew Cuts faced challenges adapting to the changing landscape. Despite this, they continued to perform and record, but with less commercial success in their heyday. Over time, the members pursued various solo endeavors and other interests. Rudy McGarry and Pat Barrett remained involved in the music industry, while John and Ray Perkins pursued different career paths. Today, the Crew Cuts are warmly remembered as symbols of the music scene from the 1950s. Their songs bring back cherished memories for fans who danced along to their tunes in the 50s and 60s, serving as delightful reminders of a nostalgic era gone by. No trip down memory lane would be complete without including the Diamonds. Number 11, the Diamonds. In 1953, the Diamonds burst onto the music scene, quickly becoming a favorite vocal group among fans. Their smooth harmonies and catchy songs made them a sensation, winning over audiences nationwide. They went on 40 concerts, wowing crowds with their lively shows and unforgettable presence on stage. Made up of Dave Somerville, Phil Levitt, Ted Kowalski, and Bill Reed, the Diamonds became famous names, especially with hits like Little Darlin' and The Stroll ruling the radio waves. Their music was a symbol of the carefree vibe of the 1950s, earning them fans who passed their love for the group down through the generations. As time went by, the Diamonds saw changes in their members and music style, but their influence remained strong. They kept performing for enthusiastic crowds worldwide, keeping their legacy alive. Today, though their original members have stepped out of the limelight, their songs still bring back fond memories for those who grooved to their tunes in the 1980s. Whether it's on retro radio stations or classic vinyl records, the Diamonds' music continues to whisk listeners away to a time filled with simpler joys and vibrant melodies. The upcoming destination on our journey down memory lane is the Moonglows. Number 12, the Moonglows. In 1949, the Moonglows stormed on the music scene, quickly ascending to stardom and winning the hearts of fans everywhere. Their melodies and seamless harmonies catapulted them to fame, solidifying their status as one of the most beloved vocal groups of their time. The band embarked on international tours, captivating audiences with their electrifying performances and magnetic stage presence in 3 recorded concerts. With chart-topping hits like Sincerely and The 10 Commandments of Love, the Moonglows dominated the airwaves, becoming synonymous with the musical spirit of the era. The Moonglows consisted of talented individuals, each bringing their unique flair to the group. Harvey Fuqua, with his soulful voice and charismatic charm, led the band as the frontman. Bobby Lester's smooth vocals and commanding presence captivated audiences, while Prentice Barnes added depth and richness to the group's sound with his distinct voice. Pete Graves provided the solid bass foundation, anchoring the group's harmonies, while Billy Johnson's versatile talents as a musician and vocalist rounded out the ensemble. As the years passed, the Moonglows faced challenges, including changes in lineup and musical direction. Despite these obstacles, their legacy endured, and their music continued to resonate with audiences worldwide. Today, while some members have passed away, their contributions to music live on, cherished by those who grew up listening to their songs. The Moonglows' music transports listeners back to a time filled with timeless melodies and unforgettable memories. And who could ever forget the Penguins? Number 13, the Penguins. In the chilly dawn of 1954, the Penguins hatched their musical journey, but it wasn't until the late 1950s that they soared into the spotlight, dazzling audiences with their icy cool sound. Their soulful melodies and heartfelt lyrics warmed the hearts of listeners, propelling them to stardom and making them an unforgettable sensation. Tour after tour, the Penguins glided across the nation, enchanting crowds with their smooth performances and magnetic stage presence. Altogether, the Penguins enchanted crowds in 14 concerts, spreading joy and excitement wherever they performed. With chart-topping hits like Earth Angel, Will You Be Mine, they left an indelible mark on the music scene, their harmonies echoing in the memories of fans everywhere. The Penguins boasted a lineup of unique talents. Cleveland Duncan's velvety voice led the pack, while Curtis Williams' soaring tenor, Dexter Tisby's rich baritone, and Bruce Tate's deep bass formed a symphony of sound that captivated audiences far and wide. Despite the challenges of changing times and shifting musical preferences, the Penguins weathered the storm, their legacy enduring like an iceberg in the sea of music history. Today, while some members have taken their final bow, their music lives on, a timeless treasure cherished by those who grew up in the groovy days. Whether spinning old school vinyl or streaming through digital waves, the Penguins' melodies still have the power to transport listeners to a world of magic and memories.